All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the series we've all been waiting for. It is Fnatic going up against Entity Esports. I am ShaDeSLaYeR and I'll be your caster for this game. This is game one of the best of three series here, and immediately Fnatic come up with the Naga Siren ban, Axe being taken away, and standard bans coming in from Entity. They have done this now 3 games running. It's the Warlock as well as the Batrider taken away, and Fnatic are going to go in with the ShaDeSLaYeR pick. Stuck standard again, Ogre Magi coming out, and is that going to be a juggernaut for Entity again? They've gone 3 games in fact 2 games in a row, both against MaxX. They went for the juggernaut, but this time around juggernaut is available, but they're not going to go for it. They are instead going to commit in for the Timbersaw along with the Ogre Magi. So is this going to be a mid lane Crowley Timbersaw, or is this going to be A35 taking it to the off lane? We'll have to wait and see. But Fnatic, they're gonna go in with the flavor of this patch. LifeStealer is going to be that safe lane carry, and it's a scary prospect here. Once the Blink Dagger comes up on this ladder, LifeStealer infested in that initiation is going to be really scary, even for someone of the likes of Timbersaw, who has a lot of mobility. But for the moment, let's see what Entity are looking for. We saw a beautiful Templar Assassin coming in from Crowley in game 1 versus MaxX, and second time around though he went ahead with the Juggernaut in the mid lane. That was more down to the hero matchup he had. He was going up against the Alchemist in the mid lane, so this time around could be completely different here. We might be thrown a curveball. The Oracle is going to be banned away, and there you go, Fnatic. They have seen what Crowley can do with that Templar Assassin. They're going to ban it away, and last bans coming in here for Entity as well as Fnatic. What are we looking at here? OD is taken off. We cannot believe it that OD actually made it through the first set of bans as well as picks. But regardless, it's going to be taken out here now, and Ursa Warrior is going to be banned away by Fnatic. We saw MaxX run that Ursa Warrior 2 games in a row, but this time around, Fnatic do not want Entity picking that up, and it's going to be Entity's first pick going into the second phase here. We saw a beautiful Crystal Maiden coming out from Swifty in game 1 of the last series. He ran a really mean Rubik as well in game 2. Rubik has been one of those heroes that Entity loves going back to time and time again, but going up against the likes of ShaDeSLaYeR might be really good against ShaDeSLaYeR's Blink Crush initiation if he can time that up, but no nifty spells for him to steal just yet. Up against the LifeStealer, the Rubik doesn't offer all that much, so let's see. Entity are taking their time here in the second phase of the draft. This is, again, for all the viewers who are just tuning in, it is Fnatic going up against Entity Esports in a best of 3. This is game 1 of the ASUS ROG Masters happening at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I'm ShaDeSLaYeR and I'll be your caster for this series here. And time ticking out here. 50 seconds remaining here for the side of Entity Esports. They have their offlaner locked in / mid laner, whichever way they want to take it, and they do have Ogre Magi as their as one of the 2 supports. 30 seconds here. What are they thinking out? Sand King is available. This again has been one of those top tier picks for both these teams on this current patch. Faceless Void is available if they want to go that way, and they're going to go for the Bane instead. They want that control up against a raged LifeStealer in these fights, and what better way to control the LifeStealer than that Fiend's Grip. And Rubik is going to be in fact picked up by Fnatic. We would have expected Entity to be pulling that one out, but instead Fnatic grabbed the Rubik, and Faceless Void is going to be snap picked up by Entity here. that is going to be Boja's hero in the offlane. So more likely than not, this is going to be a safe lane Timbersaw, unless we might see Blizzard running that Faceless Void. It has been a really long time, but for now, Fnatic, what are we looking at? We have the safe lane locked in. We have the off lane locked in. It's going to be the silencer picked up here for Fnatic. A lot of team fight coming in for Entity. You have Fiend's Grip, you have the Chronosphere, you also have the Time Walk, a barrage of spells from the Timbersaw. He relies a lot of the survivability of the Timbersaw comes in from the fact that he's able to Timber Chain around. But with the Global Silence out, it's going to go a long way in controlling up these high mobility / initiation heroes coming in from Entity. And Puck is going to be the last band coming in for Entity here. They don't want to be dealing up with any more of those pesky silences. The Dream Coil initiation into the Global Silence is going to be just a little too much for Entity to handle up. So Puck taken away. They are still, however, looking for the mid lane / safe lane hero here. All depending on where this Timbersaw is going to head out. But more likely than not, it is going to be that mid lane Timbersaw off lane Faceless Void, which means they might be requiring a safe lane. We might, all of that could be revealed here with what Fnatic feels the last ban coming in here. They are taking a lot of time, in fact, thinking this over, thinking about what roles and lanes Entity are looking towards for this specific matchup. They do have a lot of team fight here. They have a lot of initiation already. What they need is damage coming in. They need to be able to do that burst of damage. And there you go, Mushi's signature hero, one of the heroes he is known for, the Shadow Fiend, is up. And whew, I can already feel the goosebumps here. Mushi Shadow Fiend. We're going to see the safe lane Lifestealer coming out. SLAYER initiating in with the Global Silence. Entity, they need to get some sort of disengage here. That Global Silence initiate with the Shadow Fiend is going to be just a little too much for them to handle up here. They do have the pain to control up the Lifestealer, but if timed right, the Global Silence could immediately turn the tide of that fight. So for now, they're going to go in for the Slark, one of those pesky heroes to control up. He can pretty easily get rid of SLAYER's amplified damage. Could be a pest to control up against Shadow Fiend as well. In fact, it's going to be Blizzard who takes up the Slark here. That means Crowley is going to be, as expected, taking the Timbersaw out to the mid lane. It's going to be Boja on the Faceless Void. Evil Ash is going to be playing the Bane, and Swifty is playing the Ogre Magi. Kind of expected, I would say. And what I'm interested in here is the Slark gonna... Yes, there is very minimal amount of control coming in on the side of Fnatic. It's going to be only the Crush as well as the Telekinesis to control him. And of course, there is the Global Silence, but if he does Dark Pact at the right time, he's going to be able to get rid of the Global Silence. For now, game one, it's all going to come down to lanes. Entity needs to get a lot done before Fnatic's heroes come online. And with that, we have loaded into game one of this best of 3 series. For all the viewers tuning in, thank you so much. A big shout out. And Entity Esports on the Radiant side, we have K, that is Evil Ash, who's going to be on the Bane. We have Crowley playing the Timbersaw. It's going to be Blizzard on that Slark. Swifty is going to be playing that Ogre Magi that finally puts Bocha, aka A35, onto that offlane Faceless Void. And on the side of the Dire, we have the Titans of SEA Dodo Fnatic. Mushi is going to be on the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. EU is going to be playing the Rubik. Demon is going to be playing that support Silencer. Raven is going to be playing the safe lane Lifestealer. Already made his way down to the lane here. He's going to spot out Bocha trying to come in to drop that nice sneaky ward there. He's going to get zoned out, and that finally puts the offlane maestro himself, Ohio, onto the safe lane. I mean, offlane. So for the moment, Fnatic are going to group up here. Looks like they're going to be contesting the bottom lane here, bottom rune rather, for the moment. Ogre Magi seems to be making his way down there with Crowley here under the effects of smoke. It's going to wear out for the moment, so we might see a nice tussle coming in here towards the bottom rune. Only time will tell. There is the Rubik waiting in as well. Silencer. They do have very minimal amount of CC here if they want to go for this rune fight up against the Timbersaw, as well as the Bane. Ogre Magi as well as the Faceless Void should have no issues taking this rune away from the Lifestealer. Lanes are going to be very difficult here. Off lane, ShaDeSLaYeR versus what looks like the Slack, Bane, and the Ogre Magi is going to be no fun whatsoever. And likewise, your Lifestealer up against in the off lane, the Timbersaw in the mid lane, and up against the Faceless Void in the off lane, Lifestealer. Faceless Void doesn't need a lot of fun. He's just going to be looking to get those levels up, and there's going to be no fight whatsoever. Shadow Fiend is going to pick up the rune, and in fact, the Lifestealer managed to snag that bounty rune away from the Faceless Void. And like we mentioned, the burst inside the Chronosphere is very, very minimal. So they're probably going to be using that as the more for the control than trying to burst someone down, and hope that this Slark is fat enough to get the damage going. Crowley is going to take a lot of harass here in the mid lane from the Silencer. This is the problem that's going to come in from Swifty's harass. He's a melee here. It's dual melee going up against dual range and up against a Silencer. Look at that damage coming in from Demon. That is not gonna be fun. And in the safe lane, it's gonna be the Slark, who's going to be going up against the ShaDeSLaYeR. He does have the Bane to help him out here. Bane coming in from the backlines. Some nice damage being dealt up here, and there we go. The slow comes in, but the Ogre Magi already dropping dangerously low here. They don't want to be committing in just yet for Demon. In the off lane for ETE, we can see the Faceless Void trying to get as much as XP as possible. Already levels 2.5 here up against the Rubik, as well as this Lifestealer. CS, the Shadow Fiend, as expected here. Mushi leads the charts 6-3. Closely followed behind by the Lifestealer, and this luck seems to be getting some uncontested form thanks to the harass coming in from the Bane onto this ShaDeSLaYeR. There we go. The pounce does land in here. We do have Bane with the Nightmare. He's going to drop this Nightmare here. Gets taken off, and Slug nice and easy secures first blood here. And Entity becomes the first team to draw blood here, and immediately the Rubik gets a kill going the way of Fnatic here. I did miss that there towards the top lane, and the Faceless Void takes a fall. Bane commits suicide there. Just a quick trip back to the fountain there, and the mid lane not looking all too good here for Entity. This dual melee lineup seems to have taken a turn for the bad. He is, however, going to go up and start smacking Demon up here. Crowley is going to get easily double raised. He needs to be really careful here going up against the Shadow Fiend. A lot of burst damage. He, however, hasn't hit level 3, but the kill potential is almost going to double that up once the Shadow Fiend does hit level 3. Faceless Void continues to do hashtag Faceless Void things here in the top lane. He's trying to get some CS away from this pull range. He's already level 3.5. Almost level 4. Expect him to rotate towards this mid lane and get a Chronosphere off to try and bring Mushi down. And Crowley playing up against the Shadow Fiend aggressively here. The Shadow Fiend does have 2 levels of raise here, and they're trying to make a go with the Ignite coming in. No stun just yet, but looks like they're going to dive the tower here. Crowley is going to pick up the kill there onto the Shadow Fiend. No defensive teleports coming in, and Mushi takes a fall, but not without a trade coming in. Lifestealer drops the Faceless Void there in the off lane. Boja has had no support, and this has most likely come down to the fact that Swifty has pretty much been babysitting Crowley here in the mid lane. The silencer rotating to the top lane didn't help out Bocha either. And Slada is going to be looking to make a dash for this rune here. Bane trying to get the sleep off, but the crush comes in well ahead in time. He's managed to steal that rune away from Evil Ash, but he's not going to pursue this kill here, as the Slark was closely behind the Bane there, and everything resumes normalcy here. Net worth slightly in favor of Fnatic, 100, not all that great, and the XP is gonna be all even Stevens. Rubik, however, is probably trying to get something going here in the mid lane, but versus Timbersaw, who has put 2 levels into reactive armor, it's going to be really difficult here. Crowley is going to man up with that whirling death here, doing a ton of damage onto the Shadow Fiend, and Rubik is thinking about trying to make a way back towards the mid lane here. Let's see if he does find that opportunity, but with Swifty really close here, they're not gonna be able to get much done. Rubik does come back here. Telekinesis comes off here. Raze connects couple of raises here, but the stun does come in. Crowley turns around to fight. There's another TV coming in here. He's trying to get the raise off, but the right clicks coming in is going to be enough. Demon joins into the party as well, and Crowley takes a fall there. Mushi way too close there, coming in close, but had enough support coming in the nick of time, and having that DPS in drops Crowley, and that is a nice juicy 500 gold swing going the way of Fnatic. Bocha, how far is he off the level 6? He has level 5.5, so Chronosphere is not all that far off, and Ohio in fact has rotated towards the mid lane here. Is going to be trying to get a charge from the Shadow Fiend, who has TP just back from base there, and he's going to be successful in doing that. Let's see what rune he's able to gobble up here. A haste rune, and we might see Fnatic move in aggressively through the Radiant jungle. Sprint comes off, but sadly that is only going to be a bounty rune, and in fact an invis rune here. Who's going to pick that up? Ogre Magi is going to pick up the Invis rune, and he is going to make his way towards the top lane, where we do have 835, who's just about 1 creep away from picking up that Chronosphere. Shadow Fiend is in fact going to move into the dire jungle. Swifty is closely tailing him here, but without any help from this Timbersaw, he's not going to be able to get much done. He's just going to keep tabs on what Mushi is up to, and if the opportunity presents itself, we might see Crowley make his way there and try and get a pick off on Mushi's Shadow Fiend. Ohio is going to be in the off lane here. I'm just going to try and munch up some XP towards picking up that level 6. The sleep comes off here. Slark moves into position. There we go. Is he going to go in for the pounce? He's not. He's in fact just going to tag that, and Mushi gets picked off. And like I mentioned, Crowley did make his way there into the Radiant jungle, and the Silencer Demon had absolutely no idea. Gets caught out where there's pants down, and Mushi takes a fall for the 2nd time this game. On the top lane though, Telekinesis comes off onto the high ground here. We do not have a time walk available. He's gonna get beaten down to death. 3 seconds remaining here. If he does manage to survive that long, he's gonna go ahead, blow the invest, but the time walk is in the worst possible place here, and the Fate Bolt is going to secure that kill. Mushi was making his way there as well, but not required. Bocha takes a fall again, but in the meanwhile, Fnatic, yes, they have managed to kill Bocha about 3 times now, but we must understand the fact that it has come at a price. Shadow Fiend has taken a fall a couple of times himself here, and Demon, he's gonna get gone on here. Ignite comes out, but Swifty, he's going to back off, as Timbersaw is silenced up for the moment from that last word. In the bottom lane, Slug continues to free farm up. His CS is at par with that of Raven here on the next for the side of Fnatic. So come the next 10 minutes, Blizzard should be in a really strong position to fight these heroes on the side of Fnatic. Shadow Fiend, what is he going for? He does have the brown boots, Aquila, as well as the bottle and wand completed on him. So despite the 2 deaths, he is doing a-okay, but he does have some amount of catch-up ahead of him, while Timbersaw has that completed arcane boots and 400 gold to boot. On top of that, LifeStealer, what has he gone for? LifeStealer seems to be going for the stock standard armlet builder after completing up that face boots as well as the Blightstone. Slark has that completed Aquila as well as that power treads, and he's going to be putting up some damage here onto the tier 1 tower. Slada is here to immediately respond. The amplified damage comes out, and Slark is going to be able to dark pack that out immediately. Silencer, 5.5 levels in, is only about half a level away from getting up that all-important global silence. So we might see Fnatic trying to get something done here. We see an aggressive move coming in from Evil Ash, not able to get in range to get this Nightmare off onto this Lara here, which would have allowed Blizzard to engage in Bocha. With that Chronosphere as well as the Ogre Magi might seem to have tried to initiate in on Raven, but he is under the effects of his tier 1 tower. That would be diving really deep, and you would expect Fnatic to get counter rotations coming in. There you go, the Fiend's Grip comes in, immediately stolen away by the Rubik here. Telekinesis comes out as well. Global Silence is not yet available, but they're able to deal up with the Bane here. Quick work, and Fiend's Grip now is available on this Rubik. He does not, however, have enough mana to cast it, and with the border charge coming in from Mushi, he does have that spell available. So Blizzard is going to have to play this very, very safe. There's no TPs coming in, and here into the top lane, looks like Chronosphere was blown out. The Naves is going to drop really low, but a beautiful armlet toggle coming in is not nearly enough to keep him alive. He does take a fall here, but that was a trade at the expense of what looks like a tier 1 tower, which will go the way of ETE. Fiend's Grip has been channeled out here. Race comes in from the Shadow Fiend, 1 and 2, and Mushi drops Balaji. Evil Ash just a tad too late to the party, having known that they had in fact committed there towards that kill on the Lifestealer. There was no reason whatsoever for that Slark to show himself there, and from the trees comes EU with that Fiend's Grip, and in fact they're going to dive in deep here. There is a TP coming in from the Ogre Magi, Shadow Fiend coming in from the backlines. One raise and one right click is going to be enough. Immediately the crush comes in. Shadow Fiend with another raise, drops Swifty as well, and now Bocha is in a world of trouble. He's forced to time walk away, but he's time walked into the arms of Demon here. There's a TP coming in from this luck, and that is going to signal Demon's retreat. Fnatic have got what they came for, and they're going to be happy. They're going to TP and back away from this bottom lane. In the mid lane, however, Lifestealer is going to go up here and try and put some aggression in. Crowley, however, has TP'd back to the mid lane. He does have that Soul Ring completed for the moment. Armlet completed up by the Lifestealer. We already saw him put that to use almost enough to keep himself alive versus that Chronosphere gank coming in from ETE, but ended up dropping short. But for the moment, the score stands 8-4, 12 minutes into this game. Goal lead of about 2,500 going the way of Fnatic here. XP lead of about 2,000 as well. Rubik has TP'd back towards the mid lane here. Let's see if they're going to be looking to set something up against Bocha. There is Swifty waiting in close quarters in case this Faceless Void does get engaged upon. Shadow Fiend is on the bottom lane here. He has picked up that Windlace. We'll have to wait and see if he's looking to build that Yule Scepter up for comboing that up, and meanwhile we do see the rage coming out here. Defensive Nightmare is gonna do next to nothing. Bane takes a fall. Blizzard was really close there, but he was really low himself. No point in committing in there, and on the back of that kill, it is going to be that tier 1 going the way of Fnatic as well. Faceless Void does have that Chronosphere off cooldown here, but that amplified damage is going to reveal the fact that Crowley is here as well. Shadow Fiend picks up that nice juicy last hit gold coming in for the bottom tier 1 tower, and Roshan is going to be immediately the next objective that Fnatic go for here. They do have the amplified damage, which is going to easily allow them to chew through the Roshan, and with Shadow Fiend coming in with maxed out Okay, that's going to be only 1 point into presence of the Lord there, but that is going to be enough to allow them to do Roshan real fast here. Not sure if Entity knows this, but regardless, they're not going to contest it, and that is going to be Aegis going the way of Fnatic. Whom are they going to give it to? Are they going to give it to Shadow Fiend? In fact, they're going to give it to the LifeStealer instead. I would say it's a little bit of a surprising move, but regardless, this LifeStealer it's going to be really difficult to kill once, and now with the Aegis, it's going to be a hell lot more difficult to kill a couple of times. Shadow Fiend has completed up the Dragon Lance here, and he's immediately picked up another Ogre Club. So that is going to be Dragon Lance into BKB for Mushi here to start things off in game 1, and that should be really strong. He just wants to go for stats here. He wants to survive that Chronosphere initiation coming in. Like a few of the viewers mentioned, there is not much damage coming in inside that Chronosphere, and in fact Slark is going to get that pick off onto the Slardar immediately. The pounce is not going to latch by the looks of things onto Demon, and Blizzard is going to back off. He's going to be more than happy with that pick off that he just got on the Slardar. TP's coming in towards the mid lane. Chronosphere is available, so is the entire barrage of spells from the Timbersaw. Let's see though, however, if they're going to be looking to initiate, and there is the Silencer closely waiting there with the Global Silence, as well as the Rubik with the Telekinesis for an immediate counter engage. Balaji has completed up that Shadow Blade here, so do I expect him to go for these solo pickoffs in the near future? Raven is going to show himself here in the mid lane. The Chakram does come out, but they're not going to commit in the Chronosphere just yet. In fact, Bocha is going to smoke himself, and they're going to go towards the bottom lane here. Slark does initiate, and immediately the Global Silence comes off. He has defensively Nightmare, then double TP is coming in here. The amplified damage goes out as well, but Slark is forced to ulti here and back off, and that should have been enough. A beautiful 4-hero Chronosphere coming in from Bocha here, but there's no follow-up here. The right leg damage coming in is enough to challenge the Chronosphere. In fact, the ultimate comes out from the Shadow Fiend, but he's able to time walk off a couple of those damages there. And the double raise coming in from the Shadow Fiend does enough to deal up with Bocha, and in the mid lane, LifeStealer is going to rage and turn back onto Swifty, but Swifty did have that TP available to defensively get out of trouble there, and with that, it does end up being a one-hero trade there. In fact, 1-for-1, the Slardar did initially get taken down in the Chronosphere by 835 before getting dealt up with by taking a brunt of the damage from Shadow Fiend's Requiem, as well as the double raise. We see Chakram coming in here. We see Slark dropping really low. They're going to give up the tier 1 tower. Mushi is going to get Fiend's gripped up here, but immediately the Telekinesis is going to cancel that. Shadow Fiend does not have the Requiem, is dropping really low. Matchstick is going to keep him alive, but he does take a fall here to the right legs coming in from Blizzard. He is forced to, however, ulti up here. We do see LifeStealer try to get the kill there with the ultimate, but is not nearly enough. But they're going to give the chase for Swifty's life here. Swifty is running the heck out of here and is not going to be able to get anything done. At least he managed to keep Crowley as well as the Slark alive, and at the end of that colossal fight, it actually ends up being a 1-for-3 trade in favor of Fnatic. Goal lead now in excess of 3,000 and an XP lead of about 2,000 going the way of Fnatic. 13-7 is the score. Big team fight for Fnatic there. Entity did look really good at the start there when they did manage to drop the Shadow Fiend, but no real DPS coming through as the Slark was dropping dangerously low, was forced to disengage, and from that point on, Swifty had to pretty much end up giving his life for the greater good. Demon, what does Demon have? Demon does have the Global Silence available here. Level 9 is slowly working his way towards what looks like a Yule Scepter, unless that is a casual windlass, in which case that is going to be a 4-star, something standard for silence, 4th position silencers. Crowley has that completed Bloodstone now. Faceless Void, seems like he's going for that standard Vladimir's offering build. Mushi has completed up the Sanj. In fact, it's not going to be the BKB. Instead, it's going to be a full stats build coming in for the Shadow Fiend. That is the Dragon Lance into the Sanjay Yasha. That should go a long way in keeping him alive inside that Chronosphere initiation. Not to mention that if the Bane ends up blowing that Fiend's Grip specifically for Mushi. For now though, Lifestealer is infested inside ShaDeSLaYeR here, who does have the Blink Dagger available. He's going to immediately TP up onto the top lane. Let's see if they're going to engage in the Chronosphere is available on this Faceless Void, but as soon as they spot the ShaDeSLaYeR out, it is back off time for Entity Esports. They don't want anything whatsoever to deal up with Fnatic right now. Mushi completes up that Sanjin Yasha right now. We see a smoke coming in for the side of Entity Esports. Immediately goes into Shadow Blade here. Let's see if he does get spotted out. They're going to blow the Fiend's Grip here. Space only for Demon, and that is a kill secured there for Entity Esports. 35 seconds of no global silence, and look for Entity to take more fights here. Shadow Fiend is going up aggressively and trying to get this tier 1 down. The glyph has been expended here from the side of Entity, but are they going to contest this with Ohio with that Lifestealer infested inside him, as well as EU on the Rubik closely behind? Looks like they're going to back off. EU, in fact, is going to TP back towards the bottom lane. Let's see if he's going to be able to scare Entity away. Yes, he does. And that tier 1 tower dangerously low here. Entity do not going to... Okay. Scratch that. Those creeps are gonna make quick work of it. We did see an attempt at that cancel coming, deny rather, coming in, and Rubik is gonna pay the price for overstaying his welcome there as Blizzard picks up yet another kill. They're gonna blow yet another smoke here. That is 3 smokes spent by Entity over a short period of time. So they're not gonna have, by the looks of things, smoke available for a really long time to come. Yes, that is 8.5 minutes, so they have to make this last smoke count. Crowley is going to be the bait here to start things off here in the bottom lane. There is, however, all 5 heroes grouped up on the side of Fnatic. Ohio already popping that sprint out. Let's see if he's going to be engaging in Bocha. He's going to fall all the way back. He does have that completed. Vladimir's offering. Chronosphere is available if required, but Entity decide to not commit in just yet, and they're gonna wait to fight another day. Slark goes up for that Sanjay Yasha after completing up that Shadow Blade. So the Slark is going to be able to deal a lot of damage here with that stat build that he has decided to go for. Shadow Blade, yes, is going to eventually fall off, but for now it is still effective. Crowley is going to get spotted out here, but the Blink Crush coming in from Ohio is going to miss out. Immediately gets telekinesis up. Chronosphere disengage coming in, and are they going to have enough damage? This is a problem that we did discuss. They do not have damage inside the Chronosphere. There is no Slark either, but Bocha continues to pound down on the Rubik. Rubik is going to take a floor with Blizzard coming in here. Is he going to go in for the pounce, but the counter initiate coming in with the global silence? There is ultimate available by Mushi. Mushi is going to unleash here. Stun comes out in the back lines, but Mushi gets a quick double kill here. Faceless Void drops. Ogre Magi drops. We see the ultimate being blown up by the Bane. Fiend's Grip here, not enough to drop Raven in the back lines. The stun coming in from Balaji holds him up for the moment. Crowley with the defensive Yule Scepter here. Raven dropping really low, but the armlet toggle is going to keep him alive. Mushi turns around here, goes for the fight. Balaji tries to keep himself alive here, dropping really low. Armlet toggle coming in from the Lifestealer again is going to keep him alive. Buys him enough time. Bob the right leg coming in. Mushi with the rampage. Mushi says, I'm a rape you. Takes the entirety of Entity down there in the backlines. They did not focus him down enough, and Mushi brings the pain. All 5 down out on Entity, and that is a massive gold swing here, as well as the XP swing. I'm just waiting for it to stabilize. It was about 2,000, expected to be somewhere around the range of 5,000 at the end of that fight, and Mushi with those right clicks just lays in and no answers whatsoever. We did discuss a little earlier about how Entity did not have damage during that Chronosphere duration, and that really hurt them. There are beautiful counter initiate coming in from Bocha, but not nearly enough. There no damage whatsoever to drop at least a couple of players in that chronosphere. They turn it around as the Blink Crush followed up with the Global Silence Initiate comes in. Mushi unloads, and Entity, they're gonna have to go back to the drawing board here and see exactly what went wrong. They played that gank pretty perfect when it comes to CC, but the damage just wasn't there. Blizzard, the only one who can deal immense amount of right click damage, and him completely tailing that lifestealer throughout that fight wasn't nearly enough. With that, the score stands 18-11. This is game 1 of the best of 3 here between Entity Esports as well as Fnatic. Fnatic just take a colossal team fight here, and on the back of that, they're going to be able to secure Roshan here. This time around, we'll have to wait and see who picks up the Aegis. Last time, it was Raven on that lifestealer who picked it up. This time, it's going to be Shadow Fiend. Mushi, after his performance in that previous team fight, no reason whatsoever to not give him the Aegis this time around, and it's going to be a really uphill task for Entity to drop the Shadow Fiend twice. We don't disregard them, however. We have seen Entity time and time again. Back in the days when they were Beyond Infinity, and even before when they were Illunes, they were known as the comeback kings. It isn't all past them just yet. It is only about a 6,000 gold lead and XP lead of about 5,500 that we are dealing up with here, but it is a lead nonetheless. They're gonna initiate in here with a lifestealer infested in. Let's see if SLAYER is gonna be able to find an opening. The closest one is the Bane as well as the Ogre Magi, who are well under the effects of that tier 3 tower. So Shadow Fiend is going to lay into the tier 2 tower here. No contest coming in from Entity Esports. They're just going to be looking to get some split push going their way here, with Blizzard trying to bait in some rotations here, as the Faceless Void as well as the Timbersaw wait around in the first TP coming in is going to be Silencer. But there's a big loop around coming in here. Blink Crush coming out. Global Silence goes out, but immediately Blizzard has dispelled out with the Dark Pact. He's able to jump away as well. Chronosphere engage coming in here. Beautiful counter initiate, but the Shadow Fiend has joined the party. So much damage coming in, but they do get the kill onto the SLAYER, and they're able to back off before Mushi can do some irreversible damage. 1-0 pick off going the way of Entity, and they're gonna be very happy with how things turned out there. Could have been really worse if either the Shadow Fiend could burst that void down, or if that Rubik rotating all the way from behind Entity could get one telekinesis off. Faceless Void. Bocha, let's see what he has picked up here. He does have the Blink Dagger now, thanks to that pick off. So that is going to go a long way in initiating in for the side of Entity. Blink Chronosphere is going to be available, and Lifestealer, he is going massive negative armor build here. He does have the Armlet as well as the Desolator completed, and what looks like an assault pickup with that Hyperstone could be going for a Moonshot, but more likely than not, that is going to be an assault coming in. Works really well in conjunction with the presence of the Dark Lord coming in as well. And in the top lane, we do see Slug pick up a kill onto the Rubik. The Lifestealer is going to lay in onto Swifty, but no disables coming there in time. Swifty is going to be able to TP out of there, and good plays all around. 18-13 is the score. 28 minutes in here. Fnatic doing a fantastic job with dealing up with these initiates coming in from the side of Entity. Yes, they have a lot of control when it comes down to the Chronosphere, as well as that Fiend Scrub up against the Lifestealer, but they just don't have the damage as it seems for the moment, with the Slug as well as the Timbersaw, the only two heroes with any resemblance of damage. And SLAYER now is being forced to go into a BKB. When you're lacking DPS and the only DPS on your side is forced to go into a defensive item like a BKB, it means that things are looking kind of low for you at the moment. Blizzard, however, is going to go in. He's going to get spotted out here. Blink Rush initiation does come in here. Global Silence goes off, and right clicks being laid in by Mushi just enough. Blizzard melts under those right clicks coming out from the Shadow Fiend, and that's a quick pick off. Slark down for about 55 seconds, and he is still way far off from completing up that BKB. Illusion Rune going the way of Demon here, who has managed to pick up that 4-star here. Level 11 now, so level 2 Global Silence is available. Rubik does have that 4-star himself, so he's going to be in a much better position to try and grab either the Chronosphere or the Fiend's Grip, whichever he desires. ShaDeSLaYeR, in fact, has gone for that Hand of Midas after that Blink Dagger pickup, and now it's going to be, by the looks of things, a Shadow Blade pickup, and Blizzard is going to be in a world of trouble. Blink Dagger, Shadow Blade initiation onto the Crush, followed up by the Global Silence. They're not going to be able to deal up with that anytime soon. For now, Entity are going to be restricted to playing from inside their base here. 30 minutes in. The goal lead now is almost touching 10,000 here for Fnatic. 7,500 gold lead for the Dire squad here, as Roshan is going to be a couple of minutes before Roshan is up. It's going to be the Crystallis picked up by Shadow Fiend here, what looks like the makings of Daedalus. In fact, he just straight up buys the entire Daedalus there. That is a massively farmed Shadow Fiend. He does have the Butterfly, the Dragon Lance, Sanjay, Yasha, and now the Daedalus. If he wasn't hitting like a truck already, a couple of slaps and the entirety of Entity is gonna feel it. Slark here, BKB almost done, 300 gold remaining, but it's only going to come down to how far that is going to take. How far it is going to take to keep him alive. Timbersaw, meanwhile, is going to farm up. Bane gets taken down here by the Lifestealer. So another quick pick-off going the way of Fnatic. Nothing going right here. These pick-offs mean that Entity are not going to be able to hold this high ground here, as Mushi goes to work here onto the JJ tower. Glyph has been used up here. They are going to have to, however, wait up for the creep wave to push in. 14 seconds remaining. Bane is going to respawn if Fnatic decide to go in for the push, with it's going to be very unlikely with Roshan respawning in the next minute. They're going to be looking to get that Aegis back out on Mushi. He does have a slot available as well. He can drop off that Ring of Aquila and go for that final high ground siege. Entity are going to have to farm fast and be ready for when Mushi and the rest of Fnatic come barraging down that mid lane. Rubik, 137 gold. What has he picked up? He has picked up a Ghost Scepter here. That is going to go a long way in keeping him alive versus the DPS coming in from Slark here. He has been the focus here in these team fights, and now Slark, unless one of the teammates pick up that Diffusal Blade up, the Rubik is going to be easily able to disengage. ShaDeSLaYeR also close to his Blink Dagger here, only 200 gold away. Let's say if he wants to pick that up immediately, or if he wants to save up for buyback. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Roshan, yeah, just about a minute, less than a minute to go, 45 seconds. Should be up real soon here. And Fnatic, they're just going to go around and farm up until they do have that Aegis on their side and just barrage down mid lane. I don't see Entity being able to put up a fight here unless they are somehow able to deal massive amounts of damage in the Chronosphere. That is all going to come down to Bocha positioning that Chronosphere such that the Slark, the Timbersaw are going to be able to deal some physical damage during that duration. Already 2,900 gold up on this Shadow Fiend means I'm not really sure how far it was. It was like about 3 minutes ago that he picked up the Deadless hand. His farm has picked up a colossal amount, as he has already managed to farm up a lot of gold there in that duration. Roshan has respawned here. Mushi is just going to clear up this ancient stab before heading that way. Crowley has already positioned himself here. He has completed the Yule Scepter as well as that Shiva's Guard on top of the Bloodstone that he completed about 10 minutes ago. Shadow Fiend goes to work here on Roshan. Are they going to be able to contest this? No seems to be the answer, as Entity are already farming up as much as possible, trying to get as much as split push going their way before Fnatic barrages down one of these lanes here and tries to siege high ground. Who did pick up the Aegis there? In fact, it did go to Shadow Fiend. I'm guessing he did drop the Aquila as expected. Yes, he did. Lifestealer has completed up that Assault Cuirass, and he's the one to pick up the cheese this time around. Not much progression when it comes down to Silencer's items, and you would expect the same. Nothing more is required on this Silencer. Meanwhile, BKB completed on Blizzard here. He does have money for buyback as well, but is that going to be nearly enough to hold Fnatic when they surge in? In fact, they are going to buy their time here. They're going to look for that pick off before sieging down that mid lane by the looks of things. Mushi already setting up here in the mid lane, and there you go. ShaDeSLaYeR has completed up that Shadow Blade, is going to go into invisibility and try and go on the hunt here. Lifestealer still continues to be infested in. Shadow Fiend is going to lead the charge here. He does have Aegis available, and the entirety of Fnatic are closely following behind here. We do have the Global Silence available as well onto the Silencer. Tier 3 is going to go down without a fight. Entity, if they are going to contest, it's going to have to be now here. The range Rax is going to take a fall here. We do see Chakram coming in from Crowley, but does nothing whatsoever. ShaDeSLaYeR holding on here, not initiating in just yet. He does have the Blink Dagger available, but looks like he is going to buy time for that Shadow Blade to come off cooldown in about 2 to 3 seconds, and expect him to re-engage in once that is the case. In fact, ShaDeSLaYeR is going to head all the way back to the secret shop here. Let's see what the plan is. Oh, he's just heading in for a casual usage of the Hand of Midas there, and Entity managed to hold off that first push, but didn't get any sort of damage done against Fnatic. Fnatic seems to be waiting for that opportune moment to go in here. Shadow Fiend is going to lead the charge again here. Slark is going to be up in the front line, but 2 right clicks coming in hurts Blizzard here. Blizzard is going to get rid of that last creep here. Nightmare comes off, immediately woken up as well. Stun comes in here. We see the Shiva's Guard coming in as well. A beautiful engage coming in from Ohio. Shadow Fiend unleashes immediately. Timbersaw takes a fall. Blizzard's going to activate the BKB here. Buybacks coming in here. Timbersaw buys back. ShaDeSLaYeR buys back. Chronosphere comes off here from Bocha. They go to work here. Chakram comes off as well. Are they going to be able to drop him? Yes, he do. Bane does manage to get the pick off onto the Lifestealer here, but both racks down here. Middle lane completely exposed. Mushi dropping really low here. He's going to go down here, but that's only the Aegis expended here. Are they going to go in and contest this for a second time around? Yes, they do. Fiend's Grip comes off here onto Mushi. Do they have the damage here? Looks like they might not have the damage. Mushi turns around, starts to lay down onto Crowley. 2 right clicks coming in. Not enough damage, but regardless, Mushi there picks up the kill onto the Faceless Void. Buybacks galore here. Mushi drops. Slark as well. Beyond godlike here. 15-13. Telekinesis coming off here. Faceless Void takes a fall for the second time. That's a dieback here out onto the Faceless Void, and now Fnatic, they're not done just yet. They're going in for the bottom lane of Rax as well. Mushi is all but healthy here. Satanic gets delivered at the perfect time as he continues to do quick work onto this tier 3 tower. Takes a fall, and bottom lane of Rax looks like it's going to go down uncontested. No Bocha, no Blizzard as well, and 2 lanes of Rax on the side of Fnatic. Entity, it's going to be really hard, and there you go. The Blink Telekinesis and takes Down goes the Timber. So 3 right clicks is what it takes from Mushi to almost drop the Bane there. But regardless, the Lifestealer is already going to work on the third lane of Rax, and that is all but done here for game 1 as the last set of Rax goes down. GG called out by Crowley, and Fnatic takes game 1 of the best of 3 here in the group stages versus Entity Esports in the ASUS ROG Masters happening in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This is ShaDeSLaYeR from LXG India TV signing off, but don't go anywhere. This is a BO3, so game 2 is coming up in just a while, so stay tuned.